Hey internet, so before I get into this video, I just wanted to film a little clip letting you guys know that I have selected the winners from my giveaway on my 2017 favorites. I actually have messaged all of you guys about 2-3 weeks ago now, but nobody's responded, and I suspect it's because YouTube does a really bad job in terms of messaging. So I'm gonna leave all your names on the side here. I will also leave your usernames down below. So if your name comes up, then congratulations. If you could send me a message on YouTube, please use YouTube just because I want to verify that the account is matching. Just send me your mailing address and your name, and I will ship out your prize very shortly. So thank you so much for your support. Congratulations to the winners, and let's get on with the rest of the video. Hey internet, welcome to today's flip through video. So I actually wasn't planning to film this video, but I did get a couple comments in some of my previous videos about people asking if I could do a flip through video of my old bullet journal. The reason I was reluctant to do this is just because I feel like this bullet journal is so messy, like so messy. And I also didn't start this bullet journal until August, so it's not like a complete year. But I have learnt a lot whilst using this journal, and I have learnt a lot of things that I want to do differently in the future. So I figured this would also be a good opportunity to cover those thoughts, share them with you guys, and then make sure I don't make those same mistakes in the future. So yeah, let's get right into the flip through. So this particular journal is a Moleskine notebook. It is dot grid. It is quite a bit thinner. So I feel like a lot of the bullet journals that I see are maybe about this thick. This one is quite skinny. Overall, my thoughts on this particular notebook, I do have a dot grid notebook comparison video, which I can link down below if you're interested. I just go through a bunch of different notebooks, but for this one particularly, I quite enjoyed it. I did wish it was a little bit thicker, which is why I moved into a thicker one for 2018. I still also wish the paper was thicker because I get a lot of bleed through, but I also get a lot of bleed through for virtually all the ones that I currently have. So that's a little bit annoying, but that's just the way it is. So if we move right into it, just warning you now, this journal is not neat. It is very messy. This is just how it is. It's a real flip through. So I created an index, which I never filled out completely in the end. You can see I got up to the end of October and then I just stopped. It's because I wasn't actually using this myself, so there was no point in it. I didn't see a point in it. So I left 2 pages for the index as per the bulletjournal.org or .com website recommends, but I didn't think I needed that much. We have like a half-year view. This is called the future log, and what I wanted to do was add events to the side, and you can see I never got around to doing that. I did color code certain special events, so these ones here were birthdays. This yellow one here that you can hardly see was when we were on holiday. This is my anniversary, so I used it a little bit. And then we got into August. So I did my monthly goals to the side, usually on the front spread. And this is the reason I was drawing all these like wedding cakes and rings, is that August is the month that I got married in. So we were celebrating our 1-year anniversary. And then you can see here, I also included like kind of colored index tabs, just so that if you see on the side here, you can see, you can kind of get to the month very quickly. So that's why I didn't really use the index much, because I use this a lot more. So this is my habit tracker, and you can see there are always going to be certain things that I do really well, and then other things like going to sleep at 10:30 at night, did not do at all, because I go to sleep closer to 1 AM most nights, which is why I feel so tired all the time. But yeah, so I have the habit tracker, and then this is just kind of like your monthly view of any major events. And then we get straight onto the first week. So as you can see, you're gonna see a lot of Japanese scattered everywhere because I am learning Japanese at the moment, and I find like one of the best ways for me is to incorporate it all the time in my life. But yes, this is week 1. I'm gonna flip these pretty fast because otherwise it's gonna get pretty boring. But you can see that there's no standard format that I was following. It's just literally every single week I change to whatever I feel like it, and that's gonna be what my 2018 bullet journal is like as well. So this is September. This is supposed to be an island because we went to the Maldives in September, so it was supposed to represent like holiday vibes. But every time I look at this, it looks like an egg, like a fried egg. So good job, Celina. Then we have our monthly views here. And then we've got our habit tracker and the monthly view or the monthly table here. At this point, I decided to do a full monthly spread because I love this particular view in my Erin Condren planner. I actually use this view the most in my Erin Condren planner. Like, I'm constantly just stuck on the monthly view because I am mostly just planning out the following months, that sort of stuff. So I included one for my bullet journal as well. I found it really useful. Here I was tracking social media stats. I stopped doing that because I just didn't see the value in that. I just wanted to enjoy my social media accounts rather than strategizing over them. And you can see I have penciled in some video ideas which I never rubbed out in the end. It is what it is. And then we're going to get straight into the weekly view here. I kind of really started liking this particular format, so I just kept at it. And then these are like me attempting to draw and learn vocab, Japanese vocab at the same time. The vocab is going better than drawing, guys, just going to say that. And I think this was the last week before I took off my 3 months off work. So I was pretty excited. I kind of kept this page pretty light, just trying different formats. Quite like this view, actually. And then I started using my bullet journal to do things that I just felt weren't actually related to planning. So I would start writing full pages on random stuff. Like, this was my packing list for when we went to the Maldives. I just wanted it to be super pretty. And this is a shopping list, which I don't think I bought anything here in the end. So to get to the Maldives, we went through Singapore airport because I was using Singair, and I found the prices of makeup in Singapore a lot more expensive than what I could pay online. So I ended up not buying anything at all, which is a bit disappointing. And then I remember this, I actually remember this. I was doing a little bit of studying on the last week before I took, like, on my last week of work, and I was just learning more about emotional design, just because the area that I was focusing on was really about user experience, customer experience, that sort of stuff. And so I was doing a lot of studies for it. So I just started taking notes, and I love this chart so much. Here we have 10 things we learned at Inside Retail Live, which was a Inside Retail Live. I think this was a conference that I attended with some coworkers, and so I just took some notes for it. And then here I started trying to plan out, because what I wanted to do in my 3 months off at the start was bulk content like crazy for my blog and my channel. And then what I ended up doing is actually bulking for the sticker shop, which, you know, made a lot more sense in the long run. But these were just some ideas for my channel for Beautiful Fable. This is Fable in Fashion. This is Happy Cloud Ink. So this is actually the shop release stuff. None of this is accurate anymore, which is why I don't mind showing it here. Otherwise I wouldn't, because I've just changed everything. And then I've got my 2 Wanderers. And so now we are on to October. And so October was the first month that I was working as an entrepreneur. And so it was just a happy time with rainbows, and I don't know, every time I look at this, I'm like, I just cringe at my drawing techniques, but anyways. And then I have a little legend here. I don't really need the legend because I remember what the colors stand for in my mind, because these are the same colors I use in my Google Calendar, but I wrote it down anyways for the sake of completion. And then we have the habit tracker and the monthly view here. And then we have the entire actual month view where I was doing social media, tracking my Instagram posts, and just video posts and everything like that. And then one of the things that I changed when I moved over to working for myself is having a 1 day a page view, just because I really then needed some place to consolidate what I was doing. Because when I go to work, I have a separate notebook for work, so I don't record the things that I'm doing for work in any of the journals that you see featured on this channel. So essentially I have like 10 hours of the day that are missing. So I don't really need like a whole page for the remaining, like for the time after work, because it's just such a small amount of time in comparison to what I used to have. Every page is going to be the same, so I'm going to go into a bit of depth for this one, and then I'll just flip through the rest. I have the actual date, I have the time in Japanese, I put the weather on and the max and min degrees Celsius, and then here I just have the timeline for the entire day, starting at 6 AM and ending at midnight, because I would like to think that between those hours, like hours outside of this, I would be sleeping. My aim was to try and get up at 6:30 every single morning, and then get some breakfast, wash up, and then at 7 I wanted to start working. Obviously, this being the first day, it was kind of a shaky start, but that was the premise of it. And so I would track all my time every day, exactly what I was doing. I would color code it. I would make notes against each of the times so I knew where my time was going. And then I would have a to-do list on the right-hand side of the page, and I would just check that off as the day. And then at the bottom here, I would just write any random notes. So here I was just trying to revise or learn some Japanese vocab. I was practicing my drawing. And here, for certain activities, I would tally up the time. So anything around the sticker shop, YouTube, Actually, that's pretty much it. Sticker Shop and YouTube, that's when I would tally up my time so I could see how much time I was actually working, because to me, those two activities, which, I mean, those two activities were kind of, I was treating them as like my job. So I wanted to make sure that I was clocking in a good amount of time every day and I wasn't just like sitting around playing video games, just bumming away the time. So this was my way of keeping myself honest, because this format of time tracking, like timesheets and stuff like that, is what I do every single day at work as it is, like on my day job. So I felt like this would be a good way for me to do it as well. So that's exactly how the view went. I'm gonna flip through now. You can see they're all very similar, but I just track different things, do different things. And then at the end of every week, I have kind of a week in review page. I don't know if I did this for every single week. I intended to. I left the space for it, but I don't know if I actually managed to do it. And here I would tally up the time across the entire week of where everything went. So like, how much time did I spend on Happy Clouding? How much time did I spend on a beautiful Fables, Fables in Fashion, etc, etc. So I could do a week in review and just see, was this a good week? Was this a bad week? Was I productive? And if I wasn't doing well, why was I not doing well? What was causing it? This might sound a little bit like over the top, but I just work better this way. So I like to just reflect on the week and then try and make improvements for the following week. But I was doing a lot of other things in this bullet journal as well. For example, this page where I intended to write a bunch of quotes, like this particular quote here. Every mistake I've made were choices I made to please someone else, by Oprah. Love that quote because this is so me. And then I started taking other quotes from a guy called Simon Sinek, but I just really wanted to collect a bunch of quotes that I could refer to when I needed inspiration. But I did end up using my bullet journal every single day. As you can see, every day will have something in it. Another week in review. And because this page was like at the end of the week, I would do my tally and then I would use it for all, like a bunch of other stuff, like either drawing or making grocery lists or whatever else I felt necessary at the time. So here's like another random page. I have a lot of these random pages, which is one of my regrets, because I felt like I want my bullet journal to be a true tracker of my time and just not random notes that I wanted to take. So that's something I'm changing for this year's bullet journal. I think I'm going to have a separate journal for this sort of stuff and then my actual bullet journal to track my time. So it just means I'm going to have more planners, but I've never been one that has an issue with that. So here, this is so silly now that I look at it. I used some eye drops from Roto eye drops, and I use the lychee formula because I wear contact lenses, and so these are the ones that you can use with contact lenses. And I decided to challenge myself and translate the entire box because it's in Japanese. I got about halfway through and then I gave up in the end, and I still don't think I really got any value from this because I didn't finish it. But it was fun, so I wanted to do that for this one, and this was just ways to stay focused so I wouldn't get distracted. I did notice that one of the issues that I experienced while I was working for myself was it was very hard to stay focused some days. Some days I'd be okay, but it was very hard to be consistent. I feel like at work, one of the benefits of being in an office with other people is that you're around people that are energetic and working hard, and so it inspires you to work hard. But when you're by yourself, sitting in a room literally on your own, you need to be very self-motivated to keep going. So this is the next week. So some weeks you're going to see I tracked hydration. I tried moving the hydration out of my Erin Condren into my bullet journal, but after I think a month of doing that, it didn't end up working, so I put it back in my Erin Condren. I just felt like that made a lot more sense. And end of another week. And then here, I started writing out all my Japanese vocab. There's so much vocab that I really, really need to digest and internalize. And so I'm just looking for ways to do that. Tobias uses flashcards, would have worked really well for him. I don't know why. I feel like flashcards don't work well for me. I get bored really quickly. So I just keep experimenting with different ways. And so I dedicated like a whole section of my bullet journal to just drilling on Japanese vocab and writing. But I stopped. At about lesson 11, I got uninspired and I stopped. I left the pages blank to keep going, but I clearly didn't. So just keep going into, still in October. Wow, still in October. And this is a really boring end of week in review. And then we have November, which I actually think did I film a bullet journal setup for this? I can't remember. I think I did. So I remember filming this out. I'm slowly getting better and being more confident with art. I still feel really awkward about drawing with a camera rolling because I feel like it picks up all my mistakes and everything looks terrible. I feel more comfortable just drawing my own without a camera rolling. This was November. And this is the month I really wanted to up my calligraphy game. You can see it wasn't crash hard. This was just like an alphabet template for it. But I have made it my mission in 2018 to be so much better at art, so much better at calligraphy, so I'm going to practice every single day. I say that now, it's the end of January and I still haven't really done very much practice, but I am determined to practice a lot more so that I can get comfortable with it. I don't want to feel nervous when I do any of this stuff. I want to just feel confident going in. So this was just kind of like my little reference sheet. And then I have my habit tracker. I love the colors on this though. I love them, that they're so vibrant. And then this is my monthly view. So you can see I was getting more creative with everything. And then this is like my little HIIT workout. So one of the things I started doing in November was actually start working out. I don't go to the gym. I don't like run marathons. I don't do a lot of things that people around me do quite actively to stay fit. I just needed something that I could maintain. So like 15-30 minutes a day of some intense exercise, which I knew I could maintain on my own, and something I could do by myself. Like, I'm not really comfortable working out with other people. So this was kind of the format I was following and still am, and enjoying it. Not sure why I left so many pages blank here. I think I was planning to use it for something and it just never happened in the end. That's my monthly view. And then we're back onto the daily views again, which is same. Oh, this is actually not too bad. I quite like this. My week in review. This is my terrible attempt at doing calligraphy with because I did buy a bunch of these sort of pens where the tip isn't really a brush tip, it's more of it's like a solid highlighter tip. But I've seen people do calligraphy with these tips as well as brush tips, so I'm practicing with both. The sort of calligraphy you get out of each one is different, so I really like that. So I actually find it a little bit easier to use brush tips now, but back then I found it easier to use the flat ones. Oh, and this is just notes that I took, especially this one, for when I did film my dot grid notebook video comparison that I mentioned earlier. So I was just like taking notes and then writing prices, just so when I was filming that video I was reading this just to make sure I don't miss anything, because every time I do a video which is a little bit more informative and more in depth, I feel like I miss out on points and then I have to go refilm it, or I upload it and then feel annoyed at myself and then people point it out. So this is a good way of staying organized for me. At the same time, I was also taking lessons on how to learn better and faster, just study techniques for Japanese and just generally. So I took a bunch of notes. I'm back on the daily view. A week in review here, and working memory. So I'm just all about the self-improvement. So looking for ways to improve my short-term and my long-term memory. To-do list that is completely checked off. Goals. I think these were still notes for filming videos. I think this was a favorites list I was building for the 2017 favorites. So I built that list. Alright, back to daily. And then we are on to December. And I definitely did film a bullet journal setup for December. So I will link that down below if you want to see that as well. But yeah, it was the final month of me being my own boss. My Instagram game was on fire. I posted every single day and I'm super proud of myself for doing that. Definitely not something I can do now working every day, but I was on it. I was vlogging once upon December, so I vlogged every day. So yeah, I love seeing the solid colors. And then we go back to the monthly view, and this is the actual true monthly view, which I'm really loving monthly views that I decorate now. I just feel like it just feels so much more festive and fun. Then I had like a Christmas cards list of just like my friends that I was doing Christmas cards for, and then I just started writing quotes. I think I was just really wanting to practice my calligraphy, so when I saw blank pages I would just try and find quotes on the internet and then try and replicate them. I feel like the best way for me to learn is just to see examples and try and replicate them until I can kind of find my own way. You can review. Do what you love. Actually, I like this idea. I think maybe I should do something similar for my current bullet journal because I like coming to the end of the week and seeing a really nice positive quote. Make it count. And I think in December I wasn't as bullet journaling as heavy on a lot of random stuff. I think I was like fully focused on just prepping the shop before I went back to work, which, you know, makes total sense. Oh, and a lot of my time actually disappeared into vlogging because I was doing once in December at the time. So I had to be so conscious of filming something and I had to spend a lot of time editing videos as well. I think I pretty much lived in Premiere Pro the entire time. See, every time I look at my calligraphy, I'm like, that looks so bad. But I think sometimes I'm very hard on myself sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes I think we have to be our own best friend. Getting to the end of December. Breathe. I think this is actually the last page, now that I look at it. Yeah, it's just empty pages after that. So this is pretty much the entire flip through. This is the final page. Managed to clock 47 hours and a half just in the shop alone. That's pretty insane. And then 20 hours of YouTube. So that was about 68 hours spent in the last week of December just trying to get everything together. So yeah, I got really... That's the thing. Now that I'm back at work, I find it so much easier to focus when I'm at home because I know my time is limited. Back then, when I had no other obligations, it was a lot easier to just fluff away the time. And towards the end, when I knew I was running out of time, I became like laser focused and I would just work, you know, 12, 14-hour days solidly without any breaks. So I think we all function differently, but yeah, that is the entire flip through. I hope you guys enjoy this flip through. I'm really sorry if the last 3 months were kind of boring. That's the reason I wasn't too keen to do a flip through, because I just thought my bullet journal was kind of boring, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. If you don't want to miss any of my future videos, then be sure to subscribe. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, internet.